can swing now.
Mom, you want to swing?
You want to swing? Me.
Ask him if he'll show you how.
Wow.
You want me to show you how?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it that good, though, Mel.
Oh.
Jeff knows how to do it. See? Ask him if he'll teach you.
When I first met Melvin, he had lived for about 2.5 years at the institution and had been labeled a number of different things depending on which reports you read. Severely mentally retarded, epileptic, hyperactive, autistic, multiply handicapped. He didn't have any spoken language. He had about 5 signs that he used. He just had a lot of behavior problems. He's still, in some ways, very impulsive, but at that time was often in danger of hurting himself.
For Mel, and for thousands of children, the diagnosis of disability, mental or physical or emotional, was a passport to a segregated world. We have begun to acknowledge this injustice. But equal opportunity means more than tearing down walls or putting up clean curtains or leaving it to charity. It means including every person in the mainstream of community life.
Just recently we rode by the institution where he used to live, and he started kind of chuckling, and I asked what was so funny. He laughed and he said, "Me, big bad wolf, huff puff, blow old house down." And I said, "That's what you'd like to do?" And he said, "Yeah, bad place, no kids there." You know, and he's very clear about how he feels about that. And I said, "Well, where should kids live?" And he said, "Kids live families, kids live houses, kids go school."
Ed Smith Elementary is a typical public school in an ordinary school district. Here, students with differing abilities and disabilities go to class together, study together, and learn to accept each other.
Mel's turn now.
Stop.
One more time, okay? Let's read it.
Get up. It's the door. And home.
Very good.
You spend 48 cents. You give the clerk 50 cents.
So what change should I give you? BJ, come on.
48 cents.
Pennies.
Okay, good.
I can't do it. This is fun.
Okay, let's look. See, sometimes there's just as many pictures as you need, but let's look at the birdhouses.
You think that Michelle's a loving person?
Debbie Quick started in special education. She now teaches a regular section of the 4th grade.
Put your hand up.
The approach that I use when I work with kids, and I guess I learned it more from the special ed aspect, but I think it's just what good education is, that you look at all of the kids and you don't necessarily separate out that these are the typical kids and these are the special kids, but that how do all kids learn, and how do you break down the material to the child's level, to each child's level, and how do you approach it with their individual learning styles. And that's what it's all about. What was that secret?
I'm on mark. Put your arm up if I am. Okay. I'm Goofy.
Uh-oh. I think we'd have to agree with that one.
To make these classrooms open to any child, special education and regular teachers work together. A veteran teacher, Esther had no extra training in special education.
I had some concerns, very real concerns, because I thought, I don't have the experience. How am I going to do this? What are the answers I have to have, do you know a book I can read? And it's a learning experience every single day. What's this? Show me the mountains.
Rabbit.
Where are the mountains?
It's on that snow.
You're right, there's snow up there. Okay. When Jamaica came into the classroom, the first incident that happened was she started repeating everything I was saying in class, and I was standing in front of the class saying, "What else did Debbie not tell me about this child? What am I going to do?" And I just stopped Jamaica, and she stopped. And as the days progressed, I said, Jamaica's part of my class, and as Debbie said, you can't separate out.
Because then we won't be able to get most of the blood. But cut it even. I know that's what I'm trying to do too. Is cutting in. Ready? Okay, now put the glue on.
What I saw that happened in the classroom is it picked up with my students, and they in turn would just go over and help Jamaica if she needed some help in something, and would include her. I'd say, okay, you're in this group, and I'd go. And she was with the group, and the kids took care of whatever she needed to learn or to do.
Okay, now you're going to write a definition right here in plain. I wish they had more. Okay? Now, what are you going to do now? What I want you to do? Your help.
Even the best teachers need classroom help and administrative support to make mainstreaming successful. But the principal has to ask, does this work for all my students?
When we first started the program at Ed Smith, I vowed that we would not compromise the academic program of the typical children. And in no way have I seen that suffer. If anything, I think it helps reinforce so many of the skills that typical children are learning. I think it gives them opportunities to practice these skills with children that are not functioning as high as they might be.
Okay, because everything that you learn hopefully is right up here. Okay? So just in your own little group. Okay? You talk about something that you learned, Jeff will talk about something he learned. I think you did a nice job on your project. Oh, you did a great job.
How am I going to get the darn help? How am I going to get the darn help? Jack, I'll help you. Okay. Okay, I'll help you. Okay? So don't get all excited or else you could get in trouble, okay? Yeah. I can't stand Langston when he goes like that.
Yeah, I know, but Jack, he has a hard day, okay? Yeah, okay?
Everyone does. I see a little problem, you know.
Yeah, but everyone has little problems, Jeff. Yep. Sometimes we all get left out of stuff, and, you know, we don't like it that much. But it's okay. Huh?
Yeah.
Now it's time for reading. Now, I had Martha pass out all the papers that she had for homework. Some of you didn't turn your papers in. Mel? We're having reading now. When you're ready, you raise your hand and let us know, okay? Okay. Whom or what?
If Mel were in another kind of setting, it would probably be a classroom with other kids with disabilities. Now, if these kids with other disabilities or behaviors that are not, quote unquote, socially acceptable, then who is Mel going to learn from as far as appropriate behaviors? If no one else is behaving appropriately, then how is he going to learn how to do that?
Who wants to go next?
Are you ready?
Okay, Kiana?
Okay, can you read it for me? Okay, let's start at the beginning. Good job, Mel. Good job. Let's try it with this now.
You have to realize that all the kids are learning differently, and they could be given different goals. Mel's goal, for instance, is reading a sentence and speaking in a sentence.
In the kitchen, right. Let's do this.
His goal was not to talk in sentences with 5 or 6 words, but maybe let's get 4 words. It was a language goal for him, whereas for the other kids, it was an English lesson for them.
In terms of what they can do in my class, in music class, because they're becoming more and more verbal, some of the kids, they sing before they can talk, and that's really kind of exciting to me to hear them sing. I remember Melvin Haynes, he's in the 5th grade, singing Michael Row the Boat Ashore one year. I'd never heard him say a word before, and suddenly he was singing in my left ear, Michael Row the Boat Ashore. It was really exciting.
I think really with my daughter, her being the oldest, at one time she worked with autistic children. And I used to have the feeling that they were too violent and that they should be, you know, they had special needs, so they should be in special rooms with special teachers and only among children that were equal to them. Well, she helped me to appreciate that while being around them, because she went to school with them, that if everyone felt the same way I did, then they wouldn't have a fair shot at life.
Okay. Sit down when I get to Mario. Tomorrow, look who's here. Look who's ready for you. When I get to 3, you will sit.
Some of the kids see it as a disruption, but the really important thing that they also see is how the teacher deals with that disruption. And we are modeling for the typical kids too. The teachers are models too. And we're teaching the kids how to deal with certain kinds of situations. If it doesn't go your way, don't get angry. But what are you going to do to deal with it? A lot of the kids are extremely patient. They know what's happening. And this teaches them and shows them how to deal with that particular kid.
7, 8, 9, 10.
All done now?
I'm confused. So much. Prince Marky.
Well, Mark shouldn't be in a separate class. He shouldn't be in a class by himself, because then he wouldn't learn much, or he wouldn't have many friends.
Just because he can't talk or walk, he's still like other people. Even if he can't talk, he can still understand what we're saying and tell us what he means.
Mixing adolescence and academics makes any junior high a volatile place.
Chris Furlow, you gotta do it, buddy.
At this age, friends and clothes and homerooms are as important as studies.
There we go. Okay. Who else cares to do this?
In his homeroom, Chris Willis uses the informal parts of the day to break down some of the barriers to friendship created by fear and unfamiliarity.
It's an open recreation time. I don't force any of the students to interact with each other. I'll make suggestions. You know, this is the subject of the day, or this is a game we can play today, such as the weights. The weights were a big thing today, so everyone got involved with the weights. And then another day we'll get involved with paddle ball in the room or something. So I'll get all my typical students as well as the special students together involved. It's almost forcing them to learn how to converse. Okay, learning how to interrelate.
Go ahead, Chris.
No.
So when I first came the first day, I came in really afraid because I didn't know what to expect. And because I hadn't really come up front with these kids, that I didn't know them. And a lot of kids in classes, they say, gee, he's crazy, you know, he's retarded, he makes noises. He's terrible, let's not be around him. But the first day, as soon as I got in here, you know, it was all right. And the first day I was playing cards with, you know, Chris, and I had known all the others.
They get the impression from society that they can't do anything. And that's a bad image for them because most of them can do it, and they just gotta push themselves.
You can't make a disability disappear totally. You always have to face that fact that you have one. But I think it's good that people like Chris are gonna try to go to their limitations as far as they can get and how good they can be, and instead of letting other people hold them back.
And I think in many instances, parents are fearful of having their children, if you have a special needs child, to have their children with typical children. They're fearful of teasing and being ridiculed.
But we all have to learn how to handle teasing. For Chris Furlow, the lesson is in the lunchroom.
Danny supposedly making fun of him or something like that. That's what Chris is saying.
Just move it. Just move it. Just a minute. You move it. Michael, this kid treated me again.
I will not be in it.
It ain't no moving. You just move it.
Run DMC. Yeah, no. If he says move, just move. So he doesn't get mad. Chris, calm down.